Giants win the MetLife Bowl. First time since 2019. Welcome to Giants Nation. This is Bobby Skinner. Just doing a reaction to this game. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to like and subscribe. I won't ask you again. Good things out of the Giants, right? Back-to-back 30-point scoring outings for them in the preseason. All four quarterbacks, actually, all three quarterbacks did some nice things. DeVito got in the end, had a nice deep throw to Jordan Bly, but that was it. Hit through an interception. But the story is going to be Jaxson Dart, their rookie first-round quarterback. He went 14 of 16, 137 passing yards and a passing touchdown, and then also had a rushing touchdown on a QB sneak. You could tell they were trying to get him comfortable, and you can see that they're giving him the things that he had at Ole Miss. They're also giving him some up-tempo, high-pace offense, hurry-up offense. Both touchdown drives, they were not huddling for the most part in those back-to-back touchdown drives. And there was some nice throws by Jaxson Dart, right? We'll see the touchdown pass to Greg Dulcich where, they fake the toss out of the gun and then get the tight end up the seam, hits him, nice accurate ball, gets him for a touchdown. They ran four verts with Montrell Washington versus a two safety coverage, and Washington sits in that zone. Dart hits him, throws a pass a linebacker. Some good stuff on there. Some couple quick game passes to Gunnar Olszewski, and some other quick game passing stuff that I do want to do some film on that I really liked out of it. And even, the Theo Johnson screen where, by the way, Brian Dable just threw him in there mid-drive. Is he going in for the rest of the game? And I think it was just Dable's, trying to prepare him and keep him ready. Throws that 30-yard screen pass to Theo Johnson. He's got pressure. He kind of ducks and sidearms it underneath and gets a big play out of that. So some stuff by Jaxson Dart, right? Even the sack that he took by, that James Hudson gave up. If Hudson just holds his block for an ounce, longer, Dart probably has a rushing touchdown or at least a really nice big play on that. He only had two incompletions. One was, a QB play where he got hit, where he just underthrew a back shoulder. And the other one just kind of threw up a back shoulder to Lil Jordan Humphrey that wasn't placed well. So, it's preseason. You always got to use that disclaimer because people don't realize you're talking about the preseason when you're recapping a preseason game. But I thought you saw some good stuff out of Jaxson Dart. Russell Wilson played a lot in this game, about a quarter and a half, even a little more. Went 4 for 7, 137 yards, a touchdown interception. Obviously, you love the beautiful moon ball to Bo Collins. And it wasn't just him, showing off his deep, his willingness to throw the ball deep or his deep accuracy, which is there, but it showed off why Russell Wilson is able to get these deep passes and get them successfully. The safety is there, right? The safety is there. Instead of just like, all right, well, the safety's there, let me get off my read. You see him. He moves that safety with his shoulder, just, pulls him to the right for just a second and throws that deep post. Beautiful stuff from Russell Wilson. Those are the types of things the Giants signed him for because they haven't been able to get that deep passing game. And then really good job on Bo Collins, right? To run a good route, keep his inside leverage, and then go and locate the ball and get 80 yards on it. Wish you could have just got an inch more and called that a touchdown. But instead, Devin Singletary got the 1 yard rushing touchdown. A lot of pounded in touchdowns in this game. You had Jameis, Dart, and Singletary with 1 yard rushing touchdowns. So now the interception on the throw to miss Bo Collins, it's basically the same exact play call. I'm assuming that Bo Collins had an option on that to either run it as a post or a corner, and Russ thought he was going to run a corner, and he floats it up there and then gets up intercepted by the corner that was covering Bo because Bo zigged when he should have zagged. Now, that's obviously you got to get that communication down. It's a UDFA getting his first opportunity in the NFL, so that's got something that has to get fixed. But if they're relying on a rookie, like I could see that happening with Malik Neighbors too. I don't think that's solely exclusive to Bo Collins. Those are the types of things they need to work out in the preseason. Because even throwing that ball wasn't, I don't think that ball would have been completed. Like it would have taken a really nice Bo Collins contested catch, and the safety was able to get even close to it. So the other stuff from Russ, the Wandale play on third down, a 3-level read. That's a good throw by Russ. That's a good decision by Russ. Wandale's got to play bigger than that, right? He's got to go attack that football, and instead it gets broken up. And that's why you don't see Wandale get targeted. Hyatt, it was good to see him on that conversion route where, they're playing him off coverage. He's walking vertically, come to a stop, get a 15-yard, catch, get 8 yards of yak, and you get a 20+. That is what Hyatt's role is going to be in this offense. It's going to be verticals, and then when they're playing off and respecting the vertical, he's going to stop. And I think he can get some production in the NFL. But overall, I thought some good stuff from Russell Wilson. There was maybe one play I didn't like where the 3rd and 5, where I wish he would have let the play develop a little more, and instead he just checks it down the Singletary on a 3rd and 5, and he's not able to get anything. But overall, good stuff from Russell Wilson. Other notes: the offensive line, 1 sack allowed, only 1 sack allowed in now 2 preseason games. That was James Hudson, who's been filling in for Andrew Thomas. He just got stunned and turned around and beat inside. And Dart took the sack on that. Marcus Bowe, 0 pressures allowed unofficially. And that's 1 now in over 60 pass blocking snaps in 2 preseason games. He has looked really good. Now, there wasn't perfect tonight. There was a couple times where he got beat inside, not clean and quick, but eventually did. But there was also a time where someone tried to work inside. He puts him on his ass, right? Like buried the dude. Really liking what I'm seeing out of Marcus Bowe. We also got to see Evan Neal for the first time at guard in game action. It was not terrible, right? It was not like, oh my gosh, so many bad plays from Evan Neal. The issue is, though, with playing against backups, I feel like Neal needs to be really, really good to have something, to think that we have something there and let him, battle for a starting opportunity. And I thought he had 2 of the worst plays on the offensive line on the night, right? A quarterback hit on Jaxson Dart, where Fedarian Mathis, who's, a backup defensive tackle, he goes to land his punch on him. Fedarian Mathis swipes his hands, works laterally, and gets a nice clean hit on Jaxson Dart. Another run play, right, where he's trying to get to the outside shoulder of a defensive tackle, gets driven back 4 or 5 yards. So I understand that when you go back and look at Neal's tape, it's not going to be so many just bad. But I do think the little bit of negative being really bad plays worries me, where I'm just like, I don't know if this guy's ever going to be someone who you can trust out there with the starting unit, or at least, starting on purpose, give you the first backup. So I didn't see what I was hoping to see out of Evan Neal, but a little bit of what I expected. But at least it wasn't totally terrible, right? Because I think that was an option. You also saw Josh Azudu at guard, a little late on that one. New York Giants. I don't think he's making the roster, but he did look solid. On the defensive side, the Jets were just run, especially with the first team, right? The first team defense played 3 series. The Jets ran the ball 15 times on those 3 series for 65 yards, and Fields was 1 for 5, which is including 2 10-plus yard runs, which, again, I understand Dexter Lawrence was not out there, but I still do worry about this run defense quite a bit. There was even a 3rd and 7 run that got converted where they had Abdul Carter lined up on the inside. And that's part of the chances that you take when you do put Abdul Carter on the inside, and you just get in this pass rush heavy. Some teams are just going to put in the running back's chest and say, go get it. And they're going to have a favorable front to run into. So, I actually thought Roy Robertson-Harris made a couple plays in the run game, but also just times where he's getting washed down and moved out and not doing anything. I thought Micah McFadden probably had the worst night out of anybody. Right? He was just not getting to his spots, was getting swallowed up by offensive linemen. I thought he had, he's been really good in the preseason for the Giants his first 3 years. I thought he really struggled. Other things on the defense is like Kayvon just killed Armand Membu on an inside move. It was just clean cut, put a hit on Justin Fields. Abdul Carter had 1 pressure. He only got 5 pass rush opportunities because, like I said, the Jets just decided that they were going to run the ball every single play. And I think it's partly because of who their quarterback is in Justin Fields. And you saw Cordell Flott. A really nice pass breakup by Cordell Flott on Garrett Wilson on a 3rd down, where he's playing with outside leverage. Wilson makes that break on the slant, and he just drives on that ball, fights for inside leverage, and breaks the pass up. So in a cornerback 2 battle, Banks didn't play, dealing with some type of injury. Good stuff, right? In 2 preseason games, Flott missed the first one. Flott has looked like the better player, and he's been playing against the better players too. Because I know Banks was sticky in coverage last week, but Flott had to play against Garrett Wilson. Deontay Banks has not played anybody in Garrett Wilson's area code in this preseason. Makari Page had an interception. The rookie safety UDFA out of Michigan, but he also gave up a coverage, messed up a coverage on a touchdown to my brother Quentin Skinner. And then other notes. Darius Alexander, nothing again. Just a rookie, but nothing out again. I want to see some flashes out of him. We just have not seen that And I think it's going to be going from like, hey, you got to temper the expectations to where there's not going to be very many expectations. So just want to see flash from Alexander. I'm not expecting him to be all pro. Just want to see some flash. We've seen lesser players, drafted younger players flash a little bit in the preseason. Would like to see that of Alexander. So I hope you guys enjoyed. We're doing a full podcast tonight, not doing it live because it's a night game. So make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll do film breakdowns, all that good stuff. Until then, let's go Big Blue.